Hello and welcome to the TMZ podcast. I'm Branson Quirk.
And I'm Antonio Smith.
Tony, again, is our associate producer, so he's back with us
back,
today.
man. I'm more than thrilled to be back.
It's great to have you, Tony.
Definitely, man.
Move the mic more in front of your mouth there. There you go. There
Yeah.
you go. So people will be able to hear you. So it's been a tough day. We have to start this podcast with some breaking news. Very
Some sad news to start, unfortunately.
Right, and you and I were just shocked at our desks out in the TMZ newsroom. Martin Short's daughter, Catherine, has taken her own life, and all we know right now is that the 42-year-old had died from a self-inflicted gunshot wound. That's what law enforcement is telling us. The LAPD and fire department responded to her Hollywood Hills home on Monday, shortly after 6:40 p.m., where she was found deceased. A representative did give a statement telling TMZ, "It is with profound grief that we confirm the passing of Catherine Hartley Short. The Short family is devastated by this loss and asks for privacy at this time. Catherine was beloved by all and will be remembered for the light and joy she brought to the world." Man, how do you even put into words?
I honestly, just prayers to, obviously Martin Short's family and, everybody who's just affected in this situation. Of course, just really, really sad. Anytime anybody dies, it's always
seriously. I mean, and you don't know what people are going through.
Yes.
And sometimes it's the people that don't show it. They're behind closed doors. Depression is a real and dangerous aspect of an illness.
She died by suicide. That's the
self-inflicted gunshot wound. And again, you never know what people are going through because, Martin Short being a comedian, and we have a photo here of their family, all smiles, and you just don't know what people are going through. We do know Martin's wife had passed in 2010 of ovarian cancer, so I'm sure they're going through a lot right now.
Yeah.
I just wanted to put that out there because it was some breaking news that was just very heartbreaking to hear.
Yeah, prayers to, to his family and anybody affected. If you have any mental health struggles, prayers.
Right. Yeah. Prayers out to them. All right. Well, moving on to our lead story of today.
Yes. We got some serious ones, but we actually have maybe if we have time, we'll maybe get to it. But we have some important updates in the Don Lemon story and Gavin Newsom.
So I saw this clip last night. Someone sent it to me where Gavin Newsom, he's facing backlash because the comments that he made at a book event in Atlanta, Georgia, that was earlier this week, over the weekend, I believe. Newsom was discussing his personal background. He's on stage, and we have the video. We don't even have to say it. Let's just show you the video, and you can make the decision.
I'm not trying to impress you. I'm just trying to impress upon you. I'm like you. I'm no better than you. I'm a 960 SAT guy. and I'm not trying to offend anyone, trying to act all there if you got 940. But literally a 960 SAT guy. I cannot, you've never seen me read a speech. Because I cannot read a speech.
Okay, so
reacting first off that, I mean, when I first saw this clip, we're going to obviously get to the context and the outrage surrounding this. When I first saw this, I was like, man, he just comes across as cringe sometimes, and that's what I thought this was until we learned more around the outrage and why everybody was so mad at it.
Well, I mean, upon first glance, a lot of people thought that this was racist because of the person that is next to him is black. So
he's the Atlanta mayor.
The Atlanta mayor. This is in Atlanta, and people believe that he was talking directly to him, saying, "I'm like you," basically insinuating that this man is unintelligent. But then today, Harvey Levin, TMZ's own, has now conflicted these claims that Gavin Newsom is being racist by pulling up photos of the audience in Atlanta. Now, we have the photo. I'm going to put it up right now. Look at the audience. It's predominantly white.
Yeah, this changes everything behind. I mean, even Nicki Minaj was accusing Newsom of making these, like saying these being patronizing towards the crowd, saying, "Oh, I'm like you, trying to be haha," like you were saying.
I actually have the quote here from Nikki. It says, "This is his way of bonding with black people, is to tell them how stupid he is and that he can't read. This means my first read on him was correct. He's been handed so many things and put in high positions he never learned or deserved." And then she goes on and on after that. So Nicki Minaj, one of the people that is targeting Gavin Newsom, obviously Gavin Newsom being a liberal. Nicki Minaj has been very outspoken about her conservative background now and being a Trump supporter. A lot of people thought this was racist, but Harvey Levin pulling up these photos now.
It's mixed. It's a mixed crowd.
To me, it looks like when you watch the video, Gavin Newsom wasn't looking at him directly. I believe he looks at him for a second, and then he looks at the crowd as he's saying it. He was obviously, it's obvious what he was trying to do here. I think it's like this has been taken out of proportion.
Yes.
He was just saying, I'm not the smartest guy in the world. Look where I'm at, and I'm not the smartest guy. I got a 960 on my SAT, and he was just telling everybody in the room, even though I am a government high-level official, I'm the governor of a whole state, I am not the smartest either, so don't assume that I'm this brain smart guy.
Yeah, and people were, if you don't see that photo and he's saying, and you see to him turn to the mayor and say, "Oh, like you, I'm not that smart," you can obviously take that like he's being patronizing or being racist. But like the fact that we have these photos now completely disputes what everybody who's arguing that he is racist,
Right. But then again, on the other side of it, I know people are in the comments here calling liars, don't lie. He was being racist. I get it. You watch the video, you look, you can also argue the fact that Gavin Newsom said it to him first and then moved over. I get it what you're saying, and he kind of had to catch himself. I understand that. But Gavin Newsom, he's smart. He's very media trained. I don't believe that in this situation, I'm not a Gavin Newsom fan. So this is coming from a non-Gavin Newsom fan.
Mm-hmm.
I want Gavin Newsom out of the office just as much as the next conservative does. But this is coming from just common sense. I don't think this is it.
Yeah, I don't share that belief either, Branson. Especially now that we have now, if this was on the flip side of what everybody on Twitter and everybody who's outraged is saying that it is racist. If this was a crowd full of black people, obviously that you can make that interpretation from it, but it's not, and that fully, disputes what everybody's saying, in my opinion. So.
And it's important to know, Harvey Levin, he said it himself, he's not endorsing Newsom. He's just encouraging critics to challenge the record, not to rely on what he called, quote, clickbait BS, which is typically what happens these days. Yeah. So you just got to look at it and think, okay, did Gavin Newsom really intend to insult an entire community?
No, I don't think so. It definitely doesn't come across like that. I just think, Newsom says some stuff sometimes that can definitely come across as cringe. And he's obviously, like you said, he's trying to be relatable. He's like, hey, he has his own struggles, and I think it come across as like that.
You know what? I'm going to put a poll out. Do you believe Gavin was being racist? And you can vote.
Guys, tell us what you think. Sound off in the comments section. Say, whatever you're feeling.
Let us know what you think. And I already see you guys commenting right now. Again, if you're listening on Apple and Spotify, this is on YouTube. This is our afternoon podcast where we do it live, and you can come give your thoughts and everything. All right, well, let's move on. Don Lemon, he's facing more legal trouble.
Oh, man.
Another legal obstacle for Don Lemon.
What's that update, Branson?
So he is being sued by a woman who claims she suffered severe emotional distress during a church protest that he had been covering in Minnesota. According to court documents obtained by TMZ, Ann Doucette, the woman, says she was attending a worship service at the city's church in St. Paul, Minnesota on January 18th. She alleges Don Lemon and others unlawfully interfered with her inability or with her ability to exercise her religion in a private place of worship. This all occurred. We all saw this following the death of Renee Good, and was aimed at confronting the city's church pastor, David Easterwood, who was also a Minneapolis ICE official. Now, the big argument now is whether or not, and this is what they're going to have to try and prove in court, what Don Lemon has been charged with. He's been charged with 1 count of conspiracy against the right of religious freedom at a place of worship and 1 count of injuring, intimidating, and interfering with the exercise of the right of religious freedom at a place of worship. So now it's the argument, was he conspiring with the protesters to go inside of the church and essentially pushed for this to happen?
Now, I know, I mean, at least from our conversations prior, I know we have different viewpoints on Don Lemon and his him entering the church. Was that right or wrong? Me personally, I feel like Don Lemon definitely shouldn't have entered the church, nor should the protesters, but he should definitely not be on trial for 1 count of conspiracy against the right of religious freedom and whatever else he's charged with. That, to me, it's attack on journalism, and he was just covering the protest, in my opinion.
I think that they knew that this wouldn't go too far, but they're kind of sending a message here.
They're definitely trying to make an example out of him. Of course they are.
And especially Don Lemon, because Trump does not like Don Lemon. Here's an interesting part of the story. According to the lawsuit, 1 protester admitted on social media to assisting Lemon with logistics and local contacts in support of the operation.
Oh, that is definitely interesting.
That's what they're going to have to use in court here.
Yes. So that's obviously when the trial carries out, we're all going to see all the evidence that's going against Don Lemon, and we're going to see Don Lemon's point of view. Now, if that's proven to be true, that may change things a little bit. However, in my opinion, if you watch the live streams, if you watch the videos, he's just covering the protests, and
I get what you're saying, and I have a strong opinion on this. I believe that Don Lemon knew exactly what he was doing going into that church. He had to have known that this is not legal, what they did, and he himself chose to go in and interview churchgoers and obviously, made the pastor he was interviewing uncomfortable. Yeah. I feel like Don Lemon made a bad decision by doing this, and now he's paying the consequences. I don't know if Don Lemon knew that it was illegal to go in a church like that and thought he was well within his rights.
I wonder if the protesters knew that as well, but I think they shouldn't have entered the church. And they should definitely, if you're going to protest, you should definitely protest it outside the church. Definitely let them, like this woman is going, she says she's also experienced severe emotional distress, fear, anxiety, and trauma. Like people have a right to conduct worship, for whatever religion they affiliated with.
It is scary. I mean, think about it. You're sitting in church and all of a sudden a protest comes in, especially one that was probably pretty loud and obnoxious. And maybe you thought this could get violent and you're scared for your safety. Now, again, she said that she suffered severe emotional distress. The way I see it is, this is a fair lawsuit. Some people might believe this is a more fair legal action than the charges against Don Lemon. But the fact that she's suing Don Lemon, that's the question is, do you sue Don Lemon for this? Or do you sue, maybe the organization, if there is an organization that was behind this? Well, that's who you go after.
She is suing other protesters for an unspecified
Okay, so she is suing other protesters to catch there.
But still, I mean, we're going to see this all play out in court. It's going to be interesting when all the evidence is presented because the DOJ and whoever's charging Lemon feels pretty strong about this. So
yeah. Well, we'll keep you updated on this with Don Lemon and his charges. And I don't think this is going to go too far, but they definitely want to make an example out of Don Lemon. And we'll have to see. I mean, hey, this is doing nothing but wonders for Don Lemon. His numbers are up on his podcast. He's doing much better online with his show. So, I mean, it's hard to feel bad for him when things like this happen. You know what I mean? Because he's loving it. It's good for him. He's making money off of it.
Yeah.
All right, Tony, well, let's go to the comments.
Yes.
We do have to get out of here. We don't have enough time for another story. I usually you're over there writing comments on a doc for us here, but I'm just going to go through here.
Yeah, guys, drop your comments, sound off.
Drop your comments.
Out.
Let's see. A lot of people think that it was racist, and a lot of people think that it wasn't racist. So
what's the percentage?
Wawa says yes, very racist. Heather Logan says not racist. Milika says Newsom has really made himself look stupid. The poll right now is 57% think that he's being racist, and then the rest say no. So it's kind of half and half.
It's kind of half and half. More, you know, obviously leaning that he was being racist. Again, I think the video and the crowd photos speak for themselves on that one.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, we're going to get out of here. We have a lot more to do today. Tony and I, we run the podcast department, so there's always work to do. But we'll be back here tomorrow, and we'll see you in the morning with Charlie Cotton. See you later.
See you guys. Bye.